Yeah.
Shane, let's get into the other portion of this episode, which is the weekly updates. Just close everything out. But let's start with the NBA. KD had made some recent headlines, getting into Twitter feuds with just random people.
Everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, he was literally in everyone's
As
comments.
usual.
As yeah, he makes his once a month appearance to just talk smack online, and, rightfully so. But because a lot of those people really are just talking straight garbage, like about him, about his
As usual.
choices, as usual. More importantly, not importantly, but more notably, he got into an argument with Michael Rappaport that went kind of like ugly. He kind of apologized today for like what he said to Rappaport. Supposedly, they're like not even like enemies. They're just like not friends, but people who like just talk most of the time.
Yeah.
And Rappaport like criticized him pretty hard for some comments he made or like lack
And he went
thereof.
at him. I was like,
He
yes,
went
KD,
off
defend
on him.
yourself.
He did go off on him, and I think people notably like know like Michael Rappaport is just like an irritant.
Yeah, he's a troll sometimes.
Yeah,
It's
he's like
like,
an
bro.
online presence of just like bad vibes. Like
Yeah, like he's cool,
most
but
of what
he's
his thing
like
is.
sometimes sit down, bro.
I just think he talks too much. Like, just,
Yeah.
in my own opinion, he just talks too much. His platform, he uses it, for Bleacher Report stuff. But other than that, it's not good. Like, not good content. At least in my eyes. I don't follow. NBA still in the middle of their season mostly. There's a couple games going on tonight. Let's run down some of the NBA standings in the East and West. Shane, I'll run down the East real quick. Brooklyn is atop now, at the 1 seed at 33-15, followed by Philly, only a half
34 and
game out.
15 now. They just won today.
They
So
just won.
34 and 15.
Oh, nice, nice. They beat Charlotte. That's good for me because I need to
Yeah,
know how my Knicks are going to
exactly.
fare as they move up. Took a bad loss to Minnesota the other night, bro. It
That was
was
bad. Woo, that was
atrocious.
bad.
Atrocious.
Can I tell you what I'm gonna go through this quick because I know time is getting away from us.
Oh, no, it's
But
fine. Alfred Payton sucks.
Anthony Edwards at the end of the game said, "We wanted to keep the ball out of Julius Randle's hand,
Mm-hmm.
and we wanted RJ Barrett to have the ball in his hand
Mm-hmm.
because we thought we would win if he had the ball in his hand." You know how disrespectful that is to say,
Major.
yeah, we wanted him to take the last shot because we knew if he had the ball in his hand, we're gonna win the game.
He actually, I
That's
don't think
disrespectful.
had like bad intentions with it.
No,
He
he
actually,
didn't, but that's still
no, no, he
disrespectful.
he did say that, and I think he even credited RJ's game overall. Right after he said that, he said
Yeah,
like we
he
wanted
had to.
RJ to
You
take
can't
the shot.
disrespect a man.
Right. And, like despite all of that, he didn't like do it to create drama. He did it to like kind of set up his point, which is like, yeah, we wanted RJ to take the shot because we all thought like, oh, he wasn't going to make this one anyway. But I have to give it to him because he played an amazing game. He's like
Yeah,
a tough player, you know, all in the name of sport and competition. It's all fun at the end of the day. It was a weird setup for sure because when I listened
yeah.
to the entire like minute and a half post game interview, I was just like, oh, okay, like thanks, I guess.
I just
For
want in 3 years
putting
for RJ Barrett to be hitting game winners, just not on the Nets.
oof,
That's all I want.
I don't
RJ
even know where to
Barrett, take
begin.
this as motivation. They game planned for you to take the last shot, not for you to not to take the last shot. They said close off on
Brutal.
everybody, leave him open. Let him take the last shot. That's disrespectful. I
Yeah.
want him to hit a buzzer beater. Next time against the T Wolves, keep the game close on purpose just so you can pull up in the
Set
last
him
second
up.
of the game.
Set that man up. Um,
Disrespectful.
Again, I'll just run down the East. It's Brooklyn up top, Philly 2, Milwaukee 3, Charlotte
He,
4.
yeah, they're
I
about to drop
suspect
though.
they've dropped. Miami 5, Knicks 6. They are stuck above the play-in, and then it would go Atlanta, Boston for 7-8 would be in the play-in against Indy and Chicago, and then the rest are played out: Toronto, Washington, Cleveland,
Mhm.
Orlando, Detroit, basically almost out of the playoffs. I don't. They have no chances.
Washington could come back, but it's going to take a lot because they still have the
It's
pieces.
gonna. It's the defense. Their defense has
Yeah, horrible.
no presence at all. Offensively, they're not terrible actually,
Yeah, you
and
got two
Russ
of
is
the best
actually
offensive
finding his
players
health.
in basketball. Yeah.
Yeah, Shane, you see the West? You want to take that?
You can go for it.
Got it. Utah up top, 36-11. They're pretty much solidifying themselves up top the West standings. Under them, you got Phoenix, who's actually making some really, really good pushes towards the end. The Clippers at 3, Lakers at 4. Hopefully,
They're
they're
going to drop.
missing, Bron and AD. They're probably going to drop because right behind them, half game is Denver and Portland at 5 and 6. You have Dallas and San Antonio at 7-8, Golden State, Memphis at 9 and 10. I suspect both of those teams will move up. Dallas is kind of fighting themselves still. They'll probably fight for a play-in, I still think. I don't think they have enough of a team to fight for those top 6 spots. And then the bottom of the West is Sacramento, New Orleans, OKC, Houston, Minnesota. New Orleans, I thought, had somewhat of a better team, but it's just
They
Zion.
with them it's hit or miss because they rely on Zion. Like Zion
Yeah.
is supposed to be the 4 on that team, but they're playing him like
Yeah.
a 2. So he's
Yeah.
playing like shooting guard, but he's like 300 pounds. So it's like you
Yeah.
can't rely so much on that type of player to do all that for you, especially when he's injury prone. Like he's always
Yeah.
hurt now. Like he's almost turning into that guy where he's never on the court. So
Yeah.
Minnesota's, like I said, you had a super team, you blew it. Now you guys suck. Houston had a super team. Even this year they had a super team, like on paper,
Yeah.
blew it. Uh, even like the person they traded for, they traded him away. OKC is OKC. Like you didn't expect them to be good. Pelicans, like you said, kind of waste.
Yeah.
Kings have pieces, but when you rely on Harrison Barnes, you're not gonna go very far. Like he's
They
good, but he's
never
not
get
that
it
guy.
together. They have a few pieces. They always have decent guards and forwards, and they never bring it together. They just
Nope.
never bring it together. They never find a good enough center to stick
They
around
got Bagley,
or to
but
really
Bagley's always
play.
hurt.
He plays more of a 4, doesn't he?
He's still 7 foot,
Or
so like
like
you can
7,
play him
yeah.
either one. Yeah, but he's always hurt.
Regardless,
He's another
yeah.
guy. Yeah.
I never see that team put together either. Again, NBA, finishing the second half of their season. We're now in April, so this is like literally crunch time. Playoffs are starting in about like a month and a half, though. So while some teams have time, a lot of those lower 5 and below teams are still really
Mm-hmm.
fighting for places. Let's switch over to the NFL. You have Leonard Fournette staying in Tampa on a 1-year, $3.25 million deal. Sammy Watkins switches over to the Baltimore Ravens. He was pretty much
Underrated
like
move.
boasting about how he took less money to go play
Oh
in
yeah.
Baltimore.
You know why?
Was
Because he
like
wasn't getting the ball in Cincinnati,
in Kansas
in
City.
wherever they are,
Yeah.
Kansas City. I said
Yeah.
Cincinnati in Kansas City. He wasn't getting the ball.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. And he knew it because,
He's a top
playing
wide
behind
receiver.
Tyreek Hill, they were
And
a
Tyreek Hill,
fast,
let's be real,
speed
Tyreek Hill
based
is
team.
not an elite receiver. Tyreek is just really fast.
He gets open because he's really fast.
Really
I think,
fast.
though, he's still one of the better receivers in the league.
Yeah,
He
because of that. Sammy
he
Watkins is a better receiver than Tyreek Hill. He's just not as fast.
I'd still argue that. I think Sammy Watkins is kind of a bust overall. He had some good years in Buffalo, and when he got not traded, but when he was, shipped over to Kansas City, he kind of just was like, took a backseat to literally
I say
everyone other on that team. He let Tyreek Hill
if
get like developed and better in front of him.
Sammy Watkins should have spent the extra year at Clemson instead of running to the league. That ruined him because it's like he was a redshirt sophomore, and it's like, yeah, you're old enough. You did the 3 years technically, but you're
Yeah.
not good enough yet. And it showed because even though he, like you said, he had good years in Buffalo, he was
Yeah.
never able to. He never learned football enough to come into the league and dominate.
And now he's
So it
not
kind of
just
showed.
adapting. Yeah.
Yeah, but like on the Ravens, he's gonna show out because they don't have receivers, and
Yeah.
he's a
Yeah.
receiver on that team. Excuse me, and you have him. You have Mark Andrews who can catch.
Yeah.
He's one of the best tight
So
ends,
got
and then you
Hollywood
have
Brown at
Eric.
receiver.
Yeah,
He got a
so
decent
you they
setup
got a
there. He could
team
probably be a
now.
number 2, maybe number 1 option.
It's up to Lamar Jackson to stop throwing 97-mile-an-hour fastballs over people's heads. That's what he doesn't know how to put tough finesse on the ball. Everything with Lamar Jackson is all out 100 miles an hour over the guy's head. So if he figures
Stop
that
running
out,
play
then
actions.
he gets out. You have to with them.
You gotta find
You
something
have to.
else that works. Literally gotta find it.
Yeah.
In the NFL draft that's coming up in a couple weeks, Miami decided to swap out everything. They had the number 3 overall pick from Houston that just last week they decided we're going to ship over to San Francisco for their 12th overall. plus a first round and a third round in next year's draft in 22 and a first round in 2023. But they weren't done because literally an hour later, they traded that 12th overall pick from San Francisco and a fourth, 123 overall, and their own 22 first round pick to Philly for their 6th overall and a 5th round, 156 overall. So the Dolphins moved down 3 spots, but they retain 2 more draft picks, first rounders, for the coming years. Maybe 3, because they still have one in 23 as well. And it's another team that's looking to really bolster themselves, solidify themselves as a top team in the AFC. Maybe trade all those picks for Deshaun Watson.
I'm tired of them.
They might do it. And just to close out the NFL updates, week 18 or game 17 in the NFL is official. NFL will play an extra game this coming season.
Dumb.
I kind of like it.
As a fan, I think it's great, but all these guys that have to play an extra game now and risk their bodies for an extra game, how many people you think get hurt in week 18? No, they don't. Matt, a ton of NFL players tweeted out like how dumb that was.
They're balancing it though with a shortened preseason because they're thinking the same
Who
logic.
plays in the preseason?
Nobody, but those players who do get hurt in the preseason are saying, okay, fine, I have less of an opportunity to have like an exhibition game knock me out for the season. None of the players really enjoy the preseason because of that. NFL doesn't really enjoy the preseason just because it's like dead air. Now, when the regular season starts, it's game on for everybody. Everyone's involved. Everyone's attuned to the game and everything. This one extra game, it kind of adds a little more marketability on the NFL side. It gives the players a bit more of an edge. It's one extra week. They do get an extra bye, I think, too, added into that. So I think it's going to be like a
19 weeks,
like 19 weeks. Because the one bye that would be brutal in between all of that. It's like 8 games.
I feel like the only positive that comes out of adding an extra week is that you can't have 7-9 stupid 7-9 teams. Like
how about
8-8? 8-8 is like there's no 500 anymore. If you make the playoffs, either you're over 500 or you're under 500. So and of course the NFC East will figure out a way to go 7-9-1 or something.
They'll go 8-8-1. Somebody will do it.
Exactly.
Just to keep the hope alive, the dreams alive.
Yeah, so it's like that's the only positive. It's almost impossible for 2 teams to end up with the same record now. Like in terms of in the same division, like to win the division. Like before, it was like, 2 teams could go 8-8, 2 teams could go 7-7 or whatever. It's going to be hard for that to happen now. So I'm kind of happy about that. But other than that, I feel like it was just kind of a waste. Like this benefits 100%. It benefits the owners and the league. They're going to make so much more money.
All the money off of that.
But the players aren't going to make more money, and that kind of gets me tight because you're risking your body for an extra 60 minutes just to make the same amount you would have made regardless.
I mean, and also the COVID year doesn't help last year. You know, you lose a lot of money. A lot of your contracts are restructured to make less. You know, it doesn't really fit, you know, what you want, but it does give those players more opportunity in the future to make more money.
Yeah, that's true.
Other than that, week 17 or game 17, week 18, you can expect this season Giants and Dolphins and Pats and Cowboys, 2 really good matchups, I feel, for this coming season. Regardless, keep boosting, following, sharing, subscribing all of our content all over the place. We're still everywhere. We said it last week. We'll say it again. 6 forms of media that you can consume us on.
Oh, yeah.
We got YouTube still. We got a couple of new playlists coming out. Got a couple little media clips coming out. Check us out on Twitter. Follow us at DROD Shaniac pod on Twitter. You can also follow us on Podbean, on Spotify, on Pandora podcasts, on iHeartRadio. Am I missing one?
Apple
Podcasts.
Spotify. I don't know if you said Spotify. You probably did.
Spotify. It's getting late.
What else? We're gonna be doing recaps for almost every Yankee game. Whether it might be both of us together, it might be just one, it might be both of us doing a separate video. Like today, I posted one on my personal channel. D-Rod posted one on the joint channel. You never know. So keep an eye out for that. If you haven't watched the games, but you want to
Yes,
see
sir.
what happened, we can give you a little update. It might be funny, it might not. So just keep an eye out for that.
Check
They're
it out.
pretty interesting. You guys know where to find us. Find us, follow me on my personal channel, MLB The Show Gameplay. You know, the new game comes out in a couple weeks. It's time to
Oh
get
yeah.
cracking again.
Oh
Let's do
yeah.
it. It's about to be a great year, bro.
Oh, it's gonna
It's
be a
about to be
good
a great
year.
year.
Podcast. Please tune in next week. We got another episode coming for you. But anyway, keep coming in.
All right, yo, peace out. Later.